XLM is very close to doing the unthinkable. What just happened to Stellar? So, nobody saw this coming. While the crypto world obsessed over Ethereum gas fees, Solana's random outages, and the next Bitcoin ETF filing, PayPal just made a move that could reshape the global financial system. And they didn't go with Bitcoin. Not Ethereum. Not some flashy layer 2. They chose Stellar. Yes, that's Stellar. The one Twitter ignores. The one the media called dead in 2019. The one your favorite YouTuber probably hasn't mentioned in over a year. But while everyone else was chasing hype cycles, Stellar was quietly building infrastructure, real infrastructure, global payments, instant settlement, fiat ramps in over 100 countries. And now, the world's largest online payment processor just integrated directly into that system. PayPal's USD-backed stablecoin, PYUSD, is now live on Stellar. Not on a testnet, not on a sandbox, not through some third-party bridge. This is direct, native integration with on-chain capability and regulated backing. And it's not for trading NFTs. It's not for flipping meme coins. It's for global payments, remittances, on-chain credit, microfinancing, merchant rails, real-world finance, the kind that actually touches people's lives. And the craziest part? This came out of nowhere. No months of build-up, no press tour, no massive hype machine. Just a quiet launch with world-changing implications. Because PayPal didn't just tap into another chain. They tapped into an entire ecosystem that was already live, regulated, and doing what crypto promised years ago. Moving money across borders instantly, cheaply, and transparently. And now, with PayFi, a term PayPal is using for decentralized finance rails powered by PYUSD on Stellar, we're looking at a whole new financial stack being built, right under everyone's noses. So if you're holding XLM, or even watching from the sidelines, this isn't just bullish. This is a paradigm shift. Because this isn't hype. This isn't some celebrity endorsement or speculative pump. This is what crypto was supposed to be, a financial layer for the world. And now that layer is being plugged directly into PayPal's global user base. This could be the moment Stellar finally does the unthinkable. And if you blink, you'll miss it. Let's be brutally honest, if you had to guess which blockchain PayPal would expand its stablecoin onto, Stellar wouldn't even make most people's top 5. Ethereum? Obvious choice. Solana? Is fast, flashy, and everywhere in the headlines. Avalanche? Maybe. Arbitrum? Polygon? Even BNB chain might have gotten a few votes. But Stellar? That's where things start to get interesting. Because Stellar was never built to win popularity contests. It doesn't trend on Twitter. It doesn't push NFT hype. It's not the chain for gambling on the next dog coin. It's the chain for moving money. Real money. Fast. Cheap. Globally. And not in some future vision that's coming soon. We're talking now. Stellar settles transactions in 2 to 5 seconds. Fees? We're talking fractions of a penny. Not dollars. Not cents. Fractions. That's the core difference. While other chains focus on building virtual casinos, Stellar has been building financial infrastructure in silence. Corridors that connect real-world banks, fintechs, and nonprofits in over 100 countries. This is what PayPal saw. Because Ethereum? Still slow. Still expensive. Solana? Fast, but still struggling with uptime. Layer 2s? Great tech, but scattered UX, fragmented liquidity, and added complexity. PayPal didn't want something experimental. They wanted something that just works. And Stellar just works at scale and in places that actually need it. Think Africa, Southeast Asia, Latin America, not just New York and London. We're talking regions where cross-border remittances aren't a luxury. They're survival. And guess what? Stellar's already there. It's already partnered with MoneyGram, bridging cash and crypto in real time. It's already working with IBM, powering cross-border enterprise payments. It's already integrated with fintechs in frontier markets, helping people send and receive value with minimal friction. So while the rest of crypto is still talking about banking the unbanked, Stellar is already doing it, quietly, efficiently, at scale. That's why PayPal didn't need to build from scratch or take unnecessary risks. They skipped the friction. They skipped the middlemen. They went straight to the chain that was purpose built for this exact thing. And this wasn't just a token integration. This wasn't just, let's put PYUSD on Stellar and see what happens. No, they're unlocking the full stack. With Stellar, PYUSD becomes natively usable for real-time cross-border payments. Imagine sending digital dollars from New York to Nigeria in seconds. Instant merchant settlement, no delays, no intermediaries, no waiting 2 to 3 business days. Wallet and remittance apps support onboarding users where they are, with the tools they already use. And even early infrastructure for PayPal's new decentralized credit rails powered by stablecoins and smart logic. And it gets deeper, because Stellar's smart contract layer, Soroban, is now live. That means programmable finance on a chain that's already trusted by banks and regulators. PayFi might not just be a brand. It could be the foundation of a next-gen credit network where stablecoin-based lending, credit scoring, and microfinance operate at global scale. And Stellar's compliance-first architecture? Built for this. That's why they got MoneyGram on board. That's why regulated entities trust Stellar to move billions. It's not just about speed. It's about being regulator-ready while still delivering crypto-level efficiency. So let's be clear. PayPal didn't choose Stellar as a backup plan. They didn't settle for Stellar. They chose it because it's the only blockchain already doing the work the rest of crypto still talks about. Everyone else is still pitching the dream. Stellar built the rails, turned on the lights, and already has trains running. Now, PayPal's loading up those trains with USD and aiming it at the entire world. And if you're still underestimating what that means for XLM, you haven't been paying attention. Let's zoom out for a second, because what's happening here isn't about blockchains, tokens, or dev ecosystems. This is about people, businesses, real-world cash flow. Now picture this: you're a small business owner in Brazil. You've got an online storefront selling handmade textiles. A customer in Toronto places an order and pays you in PYUSD using their PayPal app. Except this time, that transaction isn't routed through legacy banks. It's riding on Stellar. The payment settles in seconds. You don't wait 2 days for confirmation. You don't eat a $25 international wire fee. You don't deal with a mystery middleman bank holding your funds for verification. Instead, you tap cash out, and thanks to Stellar's anchor network, that PYUSD instantly becomes Brazilian real, right into your account with near zero slippage and low fees. That's not a proof of concept. That's not a beta. That's what this PayPal plus Stellar integration unlocks in real time. No banks, no borders, no BS. And here's where the magic happens. Stellar isn't just a blockchain. It's a global web of anchors, licensed financial entities that act as on-off ramps in their local markets. Whether it's a fintech in Kenya, a remittance app in the Philippines, or a digital bank in Argentina, Stellar's network reaches into places most blockchains can't touch. This is why the PayPal move matters. Because when you add PYUSD to this global liquidity engine, you're not just sending stablecoins. You're sending usable money. Value that can be exchanged into real-world currency on the receiving end with no delays, no complexity, and no predatory fees. Here's what that actually means. Immigrant workers sending money home to their families? Now they can send digital dollars from a US PayPal wallet straight into a mobile app in El Salvador, instantly without a Western Union counter. Small import-export businesses in Southeast Asia? They can settle invoices in PYUSD across borders in seconds, removing FX volatility and multi-day bank delays. Freelancers working from Nigeria or Pakistan? They can get paid in a stable asset, convert it to local currency immediately, and skip the nightmare of frozen accounts and intermediary holds. This is how you collapse global remittance fees from 10% to 1%. This is how you bypass legacy rails that charge more to move money than the money itself is worth. This is how actual people finally get access to the kind of financial tools that were supposed to be crypto's promise all along. And here's the twist. None of this requires new behavior. No one's being asked to download a new wallet. No need to learn how to bridge tokens or farm yields. Just PayPal. Just Stellar. Just instant settlement. The UX is invisible, but the transformation is massive. And the craziest part? While Ethereum sparked the stablecoin revolution, It's Stellar that's now making stablecoins actually useful to the billions of people who need them most. Because let's face it, Ethereum was built for devs. Solana was built for speed. But Stellar was built for money. Real, everyday money. And now that money flows globally with PYUSD at its core. That's not theoretical utility. That's operational infrastructure. And when you give real-world utility to billions of underserved users, guess what happens? The value doesn't just accrue to a token. It flows into a network that's now embedded in the global financial bloodstream. And that network, it's secured, validated, and powered by XLM. We're not talking hype pumps. We're talking value transfer at scale. Because for the first time, Stellar's tech, compliance stack, and anchor model aren't just nice features. They're the reason PayPal stablecoins are about to go global. Here's where things get really spicy. You've got PayPal, a top 5 global payment processor with over 430 million active accounts, deploying its stablecoin infrastructure across 2 chains, Ethereum and Stellar. But let's not kid ourselves. Ethereum is the obvious choice. It's the default. It's where most of the liquidity lives. But Ethereum also doesn't move markets anymore. Why? Too much float, too many competing tokens, too much noise. Every DeFi token, every NFT project, every DAO treasury. It's all sitting on the same bloated layer 1. And gas fees still spike the second anything goes viral. So even if PYUSD settles on Ethereum, it's a drop in the ocean. But Stellar? That's a different story. Because Stellar isn't bloated. It doesn't have an unlimited supply. It doesn't have yield farms and dog coins inflating transaction volume. What it does have is a hard cap on supply, just over 50 billion XLM, with a major portion already in circulation. And unlike Ethereum, every transaction on Stellar burns a tiny amount of XLM as a base fee. So let's play this out. PayPal launches PYUSD on Stellar. Cross-border payments spike. Remittances surge. Fintechs begin routing B2B settlement and merchant payouts through Stellar rails. Millions of microtransactions begin hitting the network daily. Each one of those transactions eats up a small bit of network resources. And over time, those microburns add up. But here's where it gets bullish. More transactions equals more demand for XLM. Because you need XLM to move anything on Stellar. It's the grease in the engine. And as demand increases and supply remains fixed, what happens? Price starts moving. And not in slow motion. This isn't just some narrative pump. It's on-chain demand flow tied to real-world money movement at scale. Let's be clear. The market hasn't priced this in yet. Everyone's still chasing the next memecoin breakout or staring at ETH gas metrics like they mean something. Meanwhile, Stellar's setting the stage for an infrastructure re-rating. Because this isn't about speculation anymore. This is about actual dollars, PYUSD, flowing through a protocol that burns supply, requires native tokens to operate, and has a globally distributed anchor system already in place. And let's not forget history. When PayPal first enabled Bitcoin buying, it triggered a retail wave that pushed BTC from consolidation to a full-blown bull run. Billions in net inflows, massive volume spikes, price momentum that lasted for months. But that was just retail access. Now imagine what happens when PayPal doesn't just offer crypto. It builds its entire financial infrastructure directly on Stellar. That's not a feature. That's a validation. A multi-billion-dollar fintech giant didn't just acknowledge Stellar exists. They're basing the future of PYUSD utility on it, which means every remittance, every merchant payout, every real-world stablecoin use case now rides on XLM rails. And let's be honest, Ethereum can't do that at scale. Solana's still battling uptime issues. Avalanche, Polygon, and friends, not even in the same conversation. But Stellar is live, stable, proven. And with this kind of volume, XLM becomes not just a token, but a key layer in PayPal's next-gen payment infrastructure. That's not priced in, not even close. But when the market realizes that PYUSD on Stellar isn't just another integration, it's the infrastructure for borderless payments at scale. XLM's re-rating won't be gradual. It'll be violent. So let's talk about a term that's about to become the next big thing in fintech, PayFi. Yeah, it sounds like some generic buzzword cooked up in a marketing lab. But under the hood, there's a massive unlock. PayFi is the fusion of PayPal's global user base, hundreds of millions of accounts, with decentralized financial infrastructure. But not DeFi in the way crypto Twitter imagines it. This isn't yield farming with 12 wallets and a MetaMask plugin. This isn't swapping coins on a sketchy DEX with 800% APY and zero transparency. This is real finance, real people, real credit, on-chain. And here's the part nobody's talking about. PayPal launching PYUSD on Stellar isn't just about fast payments. It's about unlocking the next generation of financial access, credit, liquidity, capital, without the traditional banking gatekeepers. Because on Stellar, you can now build something radically different. We're talking instant credit scoring using on-chain activity, not paperwork. Microloans issued in PYUSD by fintechs operating across borders. Trade finance between small businesses in emerging markets, all through a blockchain ledger that settles in seconds. Credit extensions tied to real payment history, not FICO scores from 3 US bureaus stuck in the 1990s. All this without ever logging into a bank. No branch, no minimums, no come back Monday for approval. And here's why it works. Stellar's architecture is purpose-built for this. Its trustline system lets users connect to fiat or asset issuers, banks, fintechs, anchors, with compliance-friendly transparency. Its anchor model allows these same institutions to issue credit, extend yield, and offer stable value loans, all within a system that already respects local regulations. In other words, PayFi equals compliant DeFi with mass market rails. It's the evolution of both systems. Traditional fintech's user base meets decentralized infrastructure, without the gas wars, the complexity, or the sketchy regulatory gray zones. And it's no coincidence this is being built on Stellar. Ethereum can't do this without complex Layer 2 integrations. Solana doesn't have the compliance framework. Avalanche doesn't have the anchor network. But Stellar works with MoneyGram to cash out crypto in physical locations, has on and off-ramps in over 100 countries, is already connected to NGOs, microfinance orgs, and real businesses that need working capital, not meme coins. And now, add PayPal's network to that foundation, that's PayFi. Not just payments, not just settlement, a fully functional, permissioned, globally distributed credit layer running on-chain. The kind of system that can extend liquidity to a small shop owner in Kenya, a freelancer in Pakistan, or a delivery service in Colombia, based on verified transaction history, not bureaucracy. That's what's quietly being built. Not another DeFi protocol fighting for whales. Not another stablecoin bridge to nowhere. A real, compliant, programmable credit system baked into wallets, apps, and businesses. And the kicker is being built on Stellar, the one chain the mainstream didn't see coming. Let's address the tension head-on. Ripple and Stellar, two sides of the same origin story, same co-founder, similar goals, but somewhere along the way, they took radically different paths. Ripple went suit and tie, big banks, central banks, institutional corridors. It bet everything on winning the regulatory arms race and convincing the legacy system to adopt XRP as the bridge asset of the future. Stellar zigged when Ripple zagged. No pretense. No billion-dollar token lockups. No courtroom drama. It focused on what crypto was supposed to solve. Financial access, low-cost movement of money, and tools for the 99%, not just the boardroom. And here's the irony that no one seems to want to talk about. PayPal didn't choose Ripple. They didn't go with XRP. They didn't opt into the institutional rails that Ripple has been selling for years. They chose Stellar. Why? Because Stellar is cleaner, simpler, more open. Because Stellar doesn't carry regulatory baggage or token sales still being litigated 5 years later. Because Stellar's infrastructure is already used by MoneyGram, Circle, Flutterwave, Leaf Global, and anchors in over 100 countries. Not as a theory, but in production. And above all, because Stellar is already doing the thing Ripple said it would do. Let's break that down. Cross-border payments? Stellar is powering them live across Africa, Southeast Asia, and Latin America right now. Stablecoin integration? Stellar is natively running PYUSD in a way Ripple still can't. Real-world liquidity. Anchors on Stellar convert into local fiat in minutes. Compliance-first credit systems? PayFi is building them with trust lines and regulated entities, not promises and lawsuits. That's not a knock on Ripple's tech. It's solid. But utility isn't about white papers. It's not about MOUs with central banks that don't materialize. It's about what's shipping, what's working, and what's live. And right now, Stellar is live. PayPal saw that. They didn't have to guess. They chose the chain that already has the rails, the compliance, and the global reach. That's not just a signal. That's a shot across the bow. Because here's the thing. Ripple's still fighting for approval. Stellar's getting deployed. Ripple is promising bridges. Stellar is the bridge. Ripple is targeting central banks. Stellar is onboarding real people in remittance corridors. Ripple's future depends on lawsuit outcomes. Stellar's future depends on adoption, and it's happening. So when people ask who's winning, don't look at market caps. Don't look at short-term price action. Look at utility. Look at who's processing stablecoin transactions from a Fortune 500 company. Look at who's powering apps people actually use. Look at who's handling real value in real time across real borders. Stellar is quietly winning the adoption game. Not in the headlines, not on CNBC, but on the ground in wallets, in apps, and now in PayPal's roadmap. And here's the part the XRP army won't want to hear. The institutional revolution may still come for Ripple, but the real-world revolution, it's already happening on Stellar. Why the market still doesn't get it yet? Here's the crazy part. The market still hasn't reacted. PYUSD on Stellar should have sent shockwaves across the crypto space. But it didn't. Not because it's not important, but because it's not sexy. No token airdrop. No flashy NFT collab. No meme coin pump. Just a multi-billion-dollar payments company choosing Stellar to build the foundation of global digital finance. That's the quiet before the storm. Because once usage ramps, once fintech apps integrate PYUSD on Stellar, once MoneyGram turns it on, the liquidity floodgates open. And when that happens, XLM won't just be a utility token. It'll be the settlement layer of a new financial system. And by the time people wake up to it, it'll already be too late to buy the bottom. Don't sleep on this. So here's the takeaway. Everyone laughed at Stellar. Everyone slept on XLM. But while the market chased the next meme coin, Stellar quietly landed one of the biggest partnerships in crypto history. PayPal, highest, global payments, remittances, credit markets, all flowing through a blockchain that's fast, scalable, and actually used by real institutions. If that's not a signal, I don't know what is. The unthinkable is getting closer. XLM might actually become the backbone of digital dollars globally. Don't be the person who realizes that after it happens. Smash that subscribe button if you're watching this on Be Crypto Smart and stay ahead of the curve. Because while everyone else waits for the next bull run, we're already front-running the future.